Hello and welcome. I am Sigmar's Lorekeeper. No, I haven't come up with a good intro yet, but I didn't want to waste any more time and I wanted to get right to what you guys have all been waiting for and get some videos out. Before we get into the video, I just want to give a quick thank you to everybody. We are so shocked at how well our intro video did. We were expecting maybe 20 views and a few subscribers, but you guys just really blew it out of the water and gave us an extra boost in motivation, so thank you from the bottom of my heart. Originally, I planned on starting with a little intro into the world and then shifting into the Realm Gate Wars for a 2-part episode. But I realized that the Realm Gate Wars have a lot of books. Frankly, too many to read and get a video out quickly, so I decided to push the Realm Gate Wars series a bit down the pipeline to give me time to read all the books and not just read off a Wikipedia page because I want to bring good content to you guys. So first, we're going to go through how this world even came to be. Now let's dive headfirst into the Mortal Realms. To understand the world of Age of Sigmar, we have to start with what we'll be referring to as the world that was. If you happen to be an old school war gamer, this might give you some flashbacks to the dark age that was the end times. To not start with an even longer story, all you need to know is that the world of Warhammer fantasy battles existed, and then it didn't. It blew up, because Chaos got its grummy little hands all over it and blew up the planet. This sounds pretty bad, but our golden boy Sigmar managed to somehow escape this and just drifted off into the void. How long did he drift endlessly in this dark void? Well, we don't really know, and neither does Sigmar for that matter. But we do know that it was a very, very long time, and he was holding on to this shard from his homeworld that will come to be known as the Shard of Malice. Keep that in your mind for later. Things might seem pretty bad for our friendly God King, but thankfully in comes Dracothion. Dracothion is a god beast, essentially a super juiced up monster that has godlike powers. Now I do wish I had more to say about him, but no one really talks about him in the lore, and he kinda just up and disappears sometimes for thousands of years. However, we do know that he is the father of all dragons and dragon-like beings. He recognized the power in Sigmar and decided to stop his endless drift and brought him to the Mortal Realms. For Sigmar, this was huge. A world untainted by the forces of chaos, a bit primitive for sure, but it was pure. The Mortal Realms also happened to be a semi-physical incarnation of the 8 Winds of Magic. These were a bunch of elemental magics from the world that was, the realms of heavens, fire, beasts, life, metal, shadow, death, and light. Sigmar got to work to build this place up, and build it up he did. I'm talking going from the Stone Age to the Medieval Age in a matter of years. In a mortal lifetime, you could go from smacking rocks together to living in a castle surrounded by huge walls. This is a pretty formative and important time that we call the Age of Myth. The Age of Myth was amazing, and full of fun adventures between Sigmar and his best friend Dracothion, traveling the realms and banishing all traces of evil that existed, usually by smacking it over the head with his magical, uber-powerful hammer, Gal Maraz. But hey, who am I to judge? Along the way, he ran into some fan favorites from his world, like celebrity cameos in a sitcom, the Elf brothers Tyrion and Teclis, Alarielle, Nagash, and even Dami Mami Marathi, who are now gods, or close enough to it. How did they come to this world? Don't worry, that is a topic for a completely different day. We don't have time to dive into the origins of all these characters right now, but let's get back on track. It's safe to say that the Age of Myth was pretty great. The world prospered, no one went hungry, all that utopia stuff, but as we all know, things can't stay perfect for long. It turns out that a little bit ago, the forces of ruin took notice of the Mortal Realms, after they were done kicking the corpse of the world that was, and they didn't like that our golden boy Sigmar was doing unspeakable things like ending poverty, social reform, not cutting people's heads off and drinking their blood. And this was just not acceptable. But they couldn't just show up and start wrecking shop. Sigmar would just pop up, beat him up, cut him down, and that would be it. No, they had to be subtler than that. Sneakier, if you will. Was Khorne, the god of murder and bloodshed, happy with this? Probably not, but beggars can't be choosers. So the 4 Chaos Gods... Oh wait, what is that on Nurgle's shoe? Hey look! A new Chaos God! The Great Horned Rat. So, the 5 Chaos Gods started corrupting the minds and souls of mortals from the background, whispering thoughts into their heads, slowly, over time, turning them against Sigmar. Now with many mortals corrupted, chaos finally entered the scene. Khorne and his demons of murder emerged and started tearing people to shreds, burning down villages, eating those who did not join their cause. Nurgle began corrupting the realms with the worst diseases imaginable. Tzeentch started mutating and deforming people left and right while using magic to weaken the realms. And Slaanesh, While Slaanesh wasn't really present, they're kind of trapped between Ulgu and Haish, but their followers did their bidding for them, probably making thirst traps on TikTok or something, I don't know. Needless to say, things were getting bad. How bad? Well, let's imagine you are a good citizen of the mortal realms. You wake up every day, you plow the fields, and you go to bed with a full stomach and a wife that loves you. Oops, looks like 2,000 bloodletters and a greater demon just walked into town, killed your family, and are roasting you alive over a fire. See, not so fun. You might be thinking to yourself, oh no, Sigmar's Lorekeeper, how did our heroes get out of this one? Well, they tried. You see, Sigmar's strong, like very, very strong. I have no doubt that in a 1v1 with the Chaos God, he would win. But there are 5 Chaos Gods, and he can't be everywhere at once. While the other gods did their best, centuries of peace made them complacent, and they started having little feuds and bickering matches between themselves, so instead of having a united front, they were very divided. This all came to a head in a major battle known as the Battle of the Burning Skies. Metal is how I know. Sigmar was tricked by the champion of chaos, Archaon the Everchosen, into throwing Galmaraz into an endless void. Some would say this was a big oopsie, and I would tend to agree. But without his greatest weapon, Sigmar knew it wasn't long until Chaos turned his new world into the world that was Part 2. So in his infinite wisdom, he used the Joestar technique of running away, taking as many mortal souls with him and getting them into Azir and then barring the gates, fully closing the realm off. This meant that Azir was perfectly safe, the other 7 realms not so much. Many criticize Sigmar for this, but I myself am a very big Sigmar apologist, so I'm just going to say this was the best play for him. With Sigmar gone and his fellow gods disorganized, the realms just fell into the Age of Chaos. And the Age of Chaos blows. Like, a lot. Death and destruction everywhere, humans are weeded out and killed. The Chaos Gods have free reign over the world, some in certain realms more than others. Khorne took Akshi, Nurgle took Garan, Tzeentch has a major presence in Kaman, and Slaanesh is still having a nap. Now, just because Sigmar left doesn't mean he gave up. In fact, he has a plan. Throughout the Age of Chaos, he's been collecting the souls of mortal champions who are about to die defying chaos, scooping them up in bolts of lightning right before their death. After hundreds of years, Sigmar finally had an army to match Chaos. An army of golden boys with the power of 12 men each and trained to perfection. Sigmar was ready. Deciding that now was the time, Sigmar unleashed these new storm-cast Eternals upon the mortal realms, thrown down in mighty bolts of lightning to appear on the earth like demigods sent from above. They were sent across the mortal realms to reclaim and reactivate the realm gates that had been slumbering for so long. This was a major push, a Hail Mary for Sigmar. If this failed, the mortal realms were doomed. Fortunately, it worked for the most part. Legions of Stormcast Eternals beat back chaos from the realm gates, opening up travel for even more soldiers to come on through. This sparked the Realm Gate Wars, a massive series of campaigns that lasted years. The tide had finally turned. A new age had dawned. The Age of Sigmar. And that is it. That's the history of the mortal realms before the Age of Sigmar setting begins. This has been so much fun to research and write down, and I really hope you all enjoyed it. There is plenty more to come, and I have a lot of videos planned, but I'd love to hear what you want. What faction, character, or story do you want me to talk about? I really am open to anything. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe with enough requests, I'll push certain videos in front of others that I already had thinking. But for now, this has been Sigmar's Lorekeeper. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.